Hi, I'm Shivam,
Hi, I'm Izzy,
and this is PhoenixChat.
where one of us can read.
Which one?
You
You find
find
out.
out.
Oh man, so thank you all so much for tuning into another episode of PhoenixChat. We have decided to join a different campaign with a slight twist. Drumroll, please. Izzy, you want to
Sky High.
explain?
It's literally Sky High.
Yes, we are playing in a alternate universe Sky High.
It's Fantasy High, but it's basically Sky High. Let's be real.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a D&D campaign, very high fantasy, but with the twist that all of the characters are students in this magic university who are kind of like learning to become heroes. So yeah, I am just so excited to have this like intersection of high fantasy, normal like D&D stuff, like interspersed with just like normal day-to-day high school life.
I'm just excited to play Dumbo. Like,
Yeah.
just dumb lady. I love her.
Yeah, you want to explain Nina's dumb
Okay.
personality?
So, her name is Nina Solastar. And she's a variant human paladin. She also goes by the nickname Soldier of the Sun. She's basically like your most lawful good, like 2 brain cell himbo character ever. I love her to death. She is 6'6" and was raised by gnomes.
Oh my god. That's such a good little detail you decided to put in there. That's
Yes.
just like this giant woman raised by gnomes. I love that so much.
Like I don't know how else to explain it because I don't want to tell a lot of her backstory. I mean, it's not that deep or anything. Like, she was an orphan, but like, she doesn't really care. She's just like, hello, yeah, if you need help, I got you. Like, yeah,
Oh,
that's
man.
it.
Yeah. I sincerely hope we're gonna get to visit everyone's like hometowns just to like
Could you
see-
imagine just going back to that entire town of gnomes with this tall party?
and my dumb short character.
Yes, please explain.
Yeah, so I'm playing Malik, an Asimar Warlock. So he's a dipshit, and he accidentally became a Pact of the Fiend Warlock. Yeah, after like an incident in his past, he just didn't realize that he was talking to a demon lady, and kind of assumed like, oh, she's like a woman in a white dress. She must be like a goddess or something. So I'm a cleric now. But no, he's a warlock. And so like basically throughout his entire life, like her and like her cultists have been kind of like manipulating him for unknown reasons. He doesn't know like what they're trying to do or like what they're like planning. But basically like all the people who've been like nice to him and took care of him his entire life have all just been like doing it because he's like made a pact with an infernal creature.
Wow.
So yeah, it's fun.
Depressing.
Yeah, depressing, yet also just like the sunniest, stupidest character. He's complete fucking himbo that just like lets absolutely nothing get him down.
Bro, this entire party is just made up consistently of himbos. Like,
Yes.
that's... I don't know how else to explain it. We're all literally himbos.
Yeah. We have our I believe our basically tsundere bugbear blood hunter, who's been chilling with us, as well as do you want to say the name or should I?
No, I want to say the name.
Go for it.
So, there's this purple tiefling, and he looks like what you would assume to be like a badass, like greaser, like, you know, rebel kind of dude. But yet, he's a himbo, obviously. And his name, which we can only say the entire thing, or else it doesn't work. It's Billion, Bill, Blaze, Bayblaze, Blades, Ass, Literally, we were trying to figure out a name for him, and the guy who made Sleaze, who was the Yeti bugbear, was like, name him Ass, and I was like, no, name him Bill, and that's like Bill Ass, and then we just kind of ran from it from there, and now it's that entire thing.
Yeah, we just kept shouting out suggestions, and he just kept like, okay, I'm taking all of them.
All of them. They're all the same.
And in case you're wondering, Billion Ascarius is like his proper name, and then Bill Ass is the first tier of his nickname. Blaze, Beyblade, Blades are the second tier of nickname. That's right, he has 2 tiers of nicknames as his nickname.
Nina's just Nina. There's nothing else.
Oh my god. So really looking forward to, because we all just like have like bright sunny characters, but except for the one character who doesn't. But I think like pretty much all of our characters have like really dark backstories, so it's gonna be real fun playing this one out.
I'm super stoked. I'm just super stoked.
Oh man.
Himbo Squad.
So we're transitioning into talking about the Phoenix Heart campaign. So where did we leave off last time? I believe it was the cliffhanger. I decided to...
All of us were pissed.
Yep. All the party watched on as Reverend Salt and this big burly man next to him have shot someone in the streets. They have no idea why it happened, or like what's going on. And then I believe Boondock immediately like pulls out his gun to like try to shoot like the burly man who shot someone. But like from the distance, like Mob Boondock does manage to land the shot on the burly man, killing him before Boondock gets the chance to kill him, as both of them immediately point their guns toward Reverend Salt. Oh man, so do you want to then explain what Reverend Salt explained to you guys?
I literally had no idea what was going on when you were explaining this. I was like, what? Wait, people are getting shot for what reason? What's happening? Because I had to act drunk anyway, because Juliet was drunk at the moment. Because I was like, wait, whoa, what's going on? Basically, what Reverend Salt claimed was that the guy who got shot was a Hydra gang member, and was just doing Boondock's job for them while they were out of town. And we were like, that's fucking extreme, but okay. Like, none of us are from the West, though, so, like, none of us really understood, and we were like, yeah, whatever.
A Wild West execution is pretty standard in the town of Hope's Landing, so...
I mean, yeah, but none of us knew that, except for Boondock.
Yeah.
But then we went to go check the arm to see that, like, if it really was a Hydra, like, member or not, but... like, it looked like the arm was deliberately blown off, so we couldn't really tell if they had a Hydra tattoo or not. But then Juliet remembered that they managed to see the face of the guy, and she was like, hey, wait a second, that's the guy I was trying to seduce. Seduce me. Like, literally putting this man in fear.
Yeah.
And when she was doing that, though, he held up his hands like, yo, chill out, and showed her the forearm, which the tattoo would normally be on for a Hydra gang member, and it wasn't there. So she was like, hey, incorrect. And that was literally all the proof they had, but, like, Boondock had, like, he did not like Reverend Salt, like, whatsoever, and was like, you know what, that's proof enough for me, and basically threw him in jail.
Yeah, which was actually kind of interesting then, because like, you guys really need to like find proof then, otherwise you have to let like Reverend Salt go free, because I really wanted to play with the idea of like Boondock for a fact like doesn't like Reverend Salt, because he's been like buying up like the land from like the poor people in Hope's Landing and just kind of like doing this like shitty corporate moves. And so like he has a personal just like grudge against him, but technically speaking, he hasn't done anything that's strictly been illegal. So having this like one thing that like Boondock could have like tried to pin it on him was like an interesting moment for the character, because like the character really almost wanted him to have done this like bad thing, so he could pin something on him. But yeah, so you guys then kind of like need to realize that like, well, we need to figure out some like actual concrete proof, because like the word of a drunk woman is not the best.
Especially Juliet. There's nothing concrete.
Yeah. So you guys just decide to like toss him in jail though for now though, and like decide to investigate the town, trying to figure out if you can find any sort of clues to properly implicate Reverend Salt. And as this was happening, I had my first interaction as the Kieran, in essence. So if you guys don't remember, the Kieran is basically, due to Essen's backstory, a being that's in Essen's mind. It grants him like blood hunter powers. He's a order of a lycanthrope, but instead of like, transforming into like a werewolf, he transforms into this like a half Kieran when he fights. So the Kieran in his mind says to Essen that he knows for a fact that Reverend Salt is lying, and that like if they kind of like waste time trying to like get proof, then Reverend Salt like might get away. And like the Kieran is a very like being that like loves like justice and and like casting down judgment on people. So he really wanted to make sure that Reverend Salt like couldn't get away, and basically gave Essen an ultimatum, like, I saved your life with the fire elemental. I need you to let go and let me kill Reverend Salt, basically, just like right now. Yeah, so it provided a very like spicy moment then for Essen and Essen's player, as they kind of realized like, well, I need to figure out a way to appease the Kieran then, but also like they would have to go around Boondock, who is the sheriff of this town, and like wants things to be done the proper way. He's not going to let Reverend Salt die unless like there is proper proof to convict him. Yeah, so yeah, do you want to explain then the fun little conversation they had with just kind of like explaining like I believe this is the first time then like you guys heard about the Kieran's goals. So what did you guys like think about that as soon as like Essen explained the Kieran?
Well, personally, Juliet was still drunk, so she had no fucking clue what what was actually going on. She was like, a god? Like, okay. I think all of us are just very, very confused, because like that, I don't think any of us have ever like interacted with something like that. So I think we're all like, okay, whatever. I guess we're just gonna go, find proof that he's guilty. Because Boondock straight up was like, we're not killing him until we have like proof and we take him to trial. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, we decided, hey, he's a reverend, let's go check the church.
Yeah. And Essen did agree to this because like the Kieran gave him the ultimatum that like, you need to like decide by sunset to either let me kill him or I'm going to try to like break free. Yeah, so Essen was like, okay, if I can figure out some kind of proof, then this whole thing will be solved. So yeah, you guys then head over to the church, which this was just kind of an oversight on my part. I probably should have realized that you guys would have investigated the church, but I just kind of blanked on this one, so kind of made this one up as we went. And so you guys like investigated it and kind of found like nothing really particularly in there, besides the fact that Reverend Salt was helping feed some of the townsfolk of Hope's Landing. So
yeah,
Hope's
that's
Landing
literally
is
all we saw.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an extremely like poor town, so like having someone like providing food to some of these people was enough to really like sway the people's opinions towards Reverend Salt. So effectively like Reverend Salt was like taking control of like the town in his own way, because like he's the person who's been like providing for them for in the month or so that Boondock's been gone. But yeah, and then you guys decided to hang around the church a little bit more.
I simply asked, is there like holy water? So my thought process was, oh, maybe like undead is like allergic to holy water, like, you know, vampires are. That was going through my head. And you said that there was like a basin full of holy water, and I got the idea, oh my god, Hops is a frog, why don't we wet her in this? And then it turned into a baptism. And I was like, Essa, do you know anything? And he rolled high enough to like, we baptized Hops.
Yeah, you guys properly baptized Hops into fucking the Church of Reverend Salt.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't even like you know how proper baptisms are you know, I literally like Lion Kinged her, like dunk wata, like.
As you lifted her up though, I believe that's the point I had Morgan literally like accidentally lean on one of the pianos to create this like holy like chord, as all of you kind of like freak out for a second and like, holy shit, did we actually just bless this tiny frog?
Yeah. So that is how Essen and Juliet became godparents to Hops.
Yeah.
It's not a plot point, by the way. This literally was just, fuck it, we're baptizing a frog.
Yeah, it's one of those things, the DM, where like you just hear like the idea, like, can we baptize this frog? And you just kind of gotta say like, let's see where this goes. I just like this isn't relevant right now, but maybe it'll be relevant later. Yeah.
I will say that's a good tip though for like DMs and stuff. If they decide to do something like something super weird and wacky, make something happen about that later down the way, because like Hops being blessed actually turned out to be something like later down the campaign.
Yeah, no, especially because like it was such a good moment, like literally all of you guys were like having so much fun with this, so I'm like, of course I just need to like make sure that like I need to keep encouraging you guys to do dumb things like this.
Why do you need to encourage? We do it anyway.
I mean, that's fair, but I need to give you like mechanical things just so like you need to really fucking like make sure you push all the buttons on this.
All the buttons.
Oh man. Yeah, so you guys hang around the church for a little bit to hold the baptism stuff. Find no relevant information because like I had planned out for you guys to have the information that like, there's a Hydra gang base like a little ways away, which you guys found out last session. And like, hey, if you guys go to the Hydra gang base, maybe you can like find out information in documents that implicate Reverend Salt. Maybe that's the thing you need to do next. But no, you guys decided to bum around town for a little bit more, and I improv'd some more stuff.
Yeah, we were deciding, well, like, hey, doesn't he have a brother? Yeah, let's go talk to the brother. So, the Reverend Salt's brother, his name is Mr. Salt, and he owns the mines, right, in Hope's Landing?
Yes. Yeah, so the only reason Hope's Landing is a town in general is that, like, it's effectively a blood diamond town. There's, like, this rich vein of, like, crystal deposits, and, like, so, you know, people came there sort of like the gold rush, to try and see if they could, like, make their fortune, through mining. Yeah, so you guys head over there, and then you can go ahead and explain.
Yeah. See, I love playing Juliet, but then I hate seeing the outcome of what happens, because sometimes it's so bad.
Why do there have to be consequences to my actions?
How dare that? Yeah, so we get in there, there's a receptionist lady, and, like, she's not, like, giving us the time of day. She's like, yeah, he's too busy, and I told them to distract her, so as they were, like, distracting her, I pilfered through her office. Oh, no, she left to go see if he was, like, busy. And I pilfered through her, like, little desk and stuff, and I stole a romance novel. Why? I don't know, but I did. And then when she came back, she was like, yeah, I'm sorry, he can't see you right now. And we're like, well, it's kind of important. And then I got the bright idea to go on my own, as per usual. So as she was distracted by the group, I had to make all these stealth rolls to get past 3 different guards to get to Mr. Salt's office, and I managed to do it somehow by the sheer luck of my dice. And
And the fact you're in fucking rogue with like 17 in stealth or something.
actually, I have a +9 in stealth. Okay, it's not that bad.
Still.
Anyway, so I managed to pick the lock and literally slowly try to crawl in, like army crawl into the office, but Mr. Salt's literally right there, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I was like, "Shh, you don't see me. If I move slow enough, you can't see me." And right before he called security, I managed to snatch one of his
calendar.
like calendars. Yeah.
Yeah, the best part is that, like, instead of just, like, calling security, he heard that, like, Boondock was on the premises, so he just, like, straight up calls Boondock and says, like, "Hey, there's a strange woman who's broken into my office. Can you come get her the fuck out of my office, Sheriff?"
Yeah, and he literally came and was like, "You fucking serious?" And I was like, "I don't know you. Who are you people?" Yeah.
So yeah. Boondock escorts you from the premise as you guys get out of earshot. I believe this is the point where Juliet's like, no, guys, I got something though for my sneaking around, and you proudly show up your calendar that you've stolen from Mr. Salt's office.
To be fair, there was things in there, like there was a date, I think. Yeah. There's an important date.
There was one thing that was tomorrow where it just said that Mr. Salt had a big day tomorrow, and it was circled in red. That was the only information you guys gleaned from the calendar. Mm-hmm. And, like, Boondock just kind of looked at the calendar, and looked at you, and looked at the calendar, and sighed really, really heavily before he walks back into the mines, hands the calendar back to the receptionist.
I was super mad, because I'm like, are you serious? I stole that. Like, fair and square. And you go, just give it back.
Yeah. At least you got to steal that special edition Roman.
No. That's the normal edition. I didn't get the special edition until, like, later on.
I forget the order you got your smite.
Yeah, no, get your facts straight. I didn't get that. I didn't get the special edition one until, like, all the bad things happened.
Yeah. God, that was just such a great moment between you two where, like, Boondock, like, he realized why you did what you did, and, like, but, like, at the same time, he's also the sheriff, so, like, he can't, like, really allow you to get away with those things, but he decided to just, like, hold his tongue for now.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it's a good moment for, like, us as players, too, to, like, really feel out, like, what each other can, you know, do and not do, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, so then you guys then, like, head back to the jail with basically no new information then.
Yeah, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, the sun is beginning to set now, and, like, Essen maybe has an hour to, like, make a decision. Mm-hmm. And I think at this point he starts trying to convince Boondock, like, oh, hey, can we move the execution to, like, tonight or something then? And then, like, you just let Reverend Salt out into the desert and just have, like, the Kieran chase after him or something? Mm-hmm. To which Boondock very specifically and plainly just says, like, nope, no, we don't do things that way here. We're gonna have it at dawn after we get the proof that we need. Yeah. And so I think at this point, Essen heard, like, the Kieran in his mind getting progressively more angry, and I think Essen decided to let the Kieran take control for a bit, so the Kieran could try to reason with Boondock.
Yeah, nobody really reasons with Boondock. Like, you can't. I mean, you can try, but, like, you can't.
Yeah. So Essen transforms, growing these, like, draconic, like, scales, getting, like, significantly taller, and also growing, like, these deer antlers out of his head. And at this point he's fully turned into the Kieran, basically, and is towering over Boondock, just like a good foot taller than this 6'3" satyr. And as the two just, like, score up, the Kieran tries to fucking intimidate Boondock by saying, Yeah, no, you know for a fact that, like, Reverend Salt is guilty of those crimes. You know it in your heart. Why won't you let me fucking kill this man instead of, like, trying to find proof and possibly letting him go free? Oh, man.
Boondock's like, nope. Just straight up, nope.
A straight up nope. As, like, the rest of you are starting to get progressively more nervous, except for, like, Hops. But Boondock straight up, like, literally wrote on his character sheet from day one, I could look the devil in the eye without flinching. So he's completely standing his ground against the Karen.
I literally remember it was Morgan, me, and Hops. We were all hiding, like, I think in Mom Boondock's house watching this all happen because we were like, what the fuck is going on? And then Hops slips out of my grasp because she got this in her mind that, I am like a holy god now. That man, he needs blessed, and decides to go up to the Kieran and lick him to bless him. And all of us are mortified.
Yeah, and so am I too, because, like, oh my god, I'm about to have to fucking roll initiative against this significantly higher level monster on you guys.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But Boondock's player is like, wait, give me one fucking chance here, and, like, looks the Kieran straight in the eyes and says, like, you know, we do things a certain way around here. If you wanna help us bring in Reverend Salt, then you're gonna have to help us stand trial. That's the way that things are done. And I say, you gotta roll perception, or roll persuasion here. Yeah, and roll the best fucking persuasion you've ever rolled in your goddamn life. All of us hanging there with bated breath as I realized, like, yeah, no, if Boondock fails his persuasion check, I am going to have everyone roll initiative. Boondock fucking rolls his persuasion and fucking rolls like it was like a 21 or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, and so I said, the Karen says, alright, fine then. How do we do this? As the Karen is now helping stand trial.
Yeah, we took a god to trial, guys. That's D&D for you in a nutshell.
Yeah. And before we get into this next part here with the trial, how do you as a DM, like, deal with, so, for example, like, Hops does a lot of, like, impulsive things, and, like, I get it, it makes sense, but also at the same time, like, there needs to be consequences in the world, and, like, the same thing for Julia, and you also understand that. But, you know, how do you make, like, appropriate consequences, especially with, like, the things they do, without, like, feeling like you to tell players, like, you can't roleplay the flaws of your character?
Honestly, for the most part, like, all of the people that I have, like, been a DM for and, like, I've played with, they, for the most part, understand that what their character's flaws are and play them out very well. And I even tell them beforehand, I'm like, do you want to do this? And they're like, yeah, because they would do this. I'm like, okay, I'm just asking for a second time, because I feel like it's like a unspoken rule. If the DM asks you, do you really want to do that?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, are you fucking sure? Because this shit's gonna go down. And you're like, yep, do it.
Okay.
So, like, one of them, it was super funny. In my Crow King campaign, literally, they were trying to sneak past these guards to get to the lake so they can, like, fight the merfolk themselves without any help. Why, I don't know, but, you know. And two of them managed to get across, or get slip by. And the one literally tripped and fell straight into the soldier's, like, chest. And she's French, and so she was trying her best to flirt with this man, and I rolled really high for this man, and I was like, ma'am, I'm gay. And she just slaps him like, and I'm French, so what is this?
I'm French! Wait!
I lost my shit. I was like, see, stuff like that, I can't help but, like, I have to give it to him, because that's so funny.
Oh, man.
It was so good.
Oh, man. Yeah, that ties into my next point of, like, how often do you let players get away with, like, a rule of cool? Because, like, there's a very easy way where I could have straight up said, like, you know, the Kieran's just not going to listen to you. Like, the Kieran is a god. But also, like, having those tiny little moments of just like, well, you can't really mechanically do this, but also like, I just think it'd be really cool if you could do it. Like, how often do you give that to your players?
The shark. Let's see. How many times? Let's see. The shark defeating the water elemental. They tried to break into a speakeasy that turned out to be bad. Honestly, I don't mind it because I want them to explore the world. I want them to be curious. I want them to be, like, immersed in this kind of stuff. So I'm just like, you know what? Let it ride. Let's see how far they're gonna go with this. Like, yeah, sometimes I have to, like, make up stuff on the spot for them to, like, you know, explore more. But, like, for the most part, it's not that bad. What's a good example for you?
Well, I mean, this is easily the best example of, like, you guys, like, kind of, like, saying you wanted to do a thing, and then, like, I'm like, okay, I guess you can really try to do this if you really want to. Because, holy fuck, I had literally planned out two, like, ways this, like, thing was going to happen in my mind. Either, the Kieran was going to kill, Reverend Salt, and that, Essen and, Boondock were just gonna be on, like, bad terms for, like, a good while there. Or, Boondock gets his way and the Kieran isn't able to kill Reverend Salt, in which case the Kieran's going to be, like, insanely pissed at the rest of your party, and you're gonna have to make, like, higher DC checks in order to, like, keep the Kieran from, like, losing control and going berserk. Mm-hmm. I did not have the Kieran stands trial with you guys on the docket in any way, shape, or form.
You always need an options sheet. Like,
yeah.
There's so many things you don't plan, like, ever. Like, I don't know, ruining a scientist's life in 2 seconds, or, like, you know, just stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking real forward to tonight where you find out the consequences for that action.
Poor Toadbird.
Poor Toadbird.
I'm so sad.
So, we can then move on to the trial here. I believe this is the point where you just busted out all the Ace Attorney references you could.
You know what's funny? I've never actually played Ace Attorney.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I know what it is. I just have never actually played it before.
Well, you at least knew the gist of it by yelling objection as loudly as you possibly could while dramatically pointing.
Absolutely. So, what happened was, we went to the courthouse, and was it Lucky who was the judge, I believe?
Yeah, Lucky was the judge.
Lucky is the deputy of Hope's Landing, and also Boondock's cousin, right?
Yeah, very timid satyr.
Yes. So, we're all in this little, like, courthouse, and he's just like, yeah, what's the end of trial? And looks over, and there's a literal god right there, and he's like, what is happening? So we chuck over Reverend Salt, and Boondock starts listing off why he's, like, guilty, and he's like, you have no proof, da-da-da, and Juliet was like, objection! And basically pointed this man out on all of the shit that she has noticed while she is sober, mind you. Because I don't think she would have been able to do this drunk at all.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. And at that point, you did have the Kieran sworn in as a witness, and so Lucky just very timidly and, like, cautiously kind of, like, swears to Kieran, like, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? As the Kieran just, like, glowers at him and says yes.
Yeah.
And so the Kieran then just goes on to say that, like, I know exactly when a being is lying, as I am a god, and I know for a fact 100% that this man over here is lying, as he fucking dramatically points towards Reverend Salt, who is getting increasingly more nervous. Mm-hmm. And then fucking Lucky decides that, like, just very nervously asks, so, Mr. Kieran, do you have any proof that you're a god? To which the Kieran slowly turns to him and says, you desire proof? As the Kieran takes a fucking bolt of like radiant energy and fucking levels the wall behind Lucky, who just immediately kind of like turns to Boondock and just kind of like that should be enough, right? That's good enough. Which Boondock just solemnly nods, unaffected.
Boondock shrugs.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh my god. Yeah, and after all of that, that seemed like enough information to properly convict Reverend Salt, as Lucky pronounced him guilty and sentenced him to death by execution. To which the Kieran took that as opportunity to slowly start lumbering over to Reverend Salt and horrifically using his flame powers to burn Reverend Salt to death.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yep. What a wild ride, dude. Like,
yeah.
I think of all my little D&D stories that I think are super hilarious, and this is, like, pretty much top tier. Like, yeah, we took an entire god to court, and then we also baptized a frog the same day. Like, crazy. Yeah.
That was a crazy, wild session that I just didn't expect for anything to happen, and, like, it just turned out so good. And one tiny detail in this, the Kieran turned to you at some point and called you an Inari woman. To which nobody quite understood what that meant besides you, and you only vaguely understood like what that meant. As you slowly kind of realized, like, ooh, the Kieran might like know what Juliet is.
Yeah, I think Essen rolled high enough to like know what it was too, but I don't think he said anything.
Yeah. Piano. Do you have any like thoughts about that? About like the Kieran just kind of like immediately kind of understanding what you were?
I was like low-key kind of panicking. I was just like, oh, hey, yeah, can we keep that on the DL, Mr. Kieran, sir? Like, we're good, chill, I helped, it's fine. Shut the fuck up, please.
Unfortunately, the Kieran's not a low-key on the down-low kind of dude.
Yeah, I know. I don't think anybody really is on the low-key kind of stuff.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It was... yeah.
Yeah. We actually have a little bit of time. Do you guys want to... You just want to head into talking about the Hydra base? Because I feel like we could probably just, like, talk about that real quick, too.
Yeah. Let me pull up my notes so I can remember all that happened.
The basic thing after, like, that insane session was that next session you guys immediately were just kind of like, alright, we now need to head to the Hydra base, though, in order to destroy the rest of the Hydras. And I believe that you talked to Titus about all of this, and Titus kind of mentioned that, like, at the Hydra base is currently 3 legendary assassins. They're called I believe I called them the Aranyes? Yeah.
Yes.
And these Aranyes are actually, like, they're not just bandits. They are assassins specifically hired by the Hydra gang in order to eliminate Boondock. And so, like, I believe Juliet at this point could have started to do some, like, thinking and realized, like, oh, wait, hasn't Cast fought the, like, Aranyes before? As you decided to call Cast for more information, if you want to go on about that.
So, I called Cass, so everybody went to the general store because they wanted to make shrapnel bombs and devise a plan, basically, and, Juliet was like, I'm gonna call Cass, because I feel like I remember that name somewhere that he said. So she calls him and she's like, hey, what do you know about the Aranyes? And he's like, oh my god, you're gonna die. And she's like, nah, I got this. And he's like, you realize they're like super hard assassins, right? And she's like, you know what? I'll bring you their eyeballs. And he's like, what the fuck? Why? And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. And hangs up and just like, hey guys, we're gonna go kill this thing.
I think it was actually more like a little bit lower key than that, because like how I currently like imagined it in my mind was that like they were hired to like assassinate someone in like Phoenix Heart, and like Cass was like on the trail but like pursued it too aggressively, and so like the Aranyes decided to like disband and regroup instead of like trying to like face down Cass, and so like Cass kind of mentioned like, oh yeah, just be careful, but like they might also try to like run and stuff too, so try to make sure that all of you can take them.
Yeah, that didn't matter anyway. We got him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
the shrapnel bombs.
Look, yeah, oh my gosh. So the snails that we found in the beginning with
in the necromancy lab.
in the necromancy lab, we decided to take the snails out of their shells and attach them to bombs to make shrapnel bombs. It was a weird time. Like, we had to figure out the logistics of this with like snail shells.
Yeah. And also, there's nothing that is worse to hear as a fucking DM than I would like to make 10 bombs, please.
Yeah. Yeah. That did happen. Yeah.
But yeah. So you guys, I have you guys like roll some checks. I'm like, oh, they probably don't like have the required tools, but no, Essen has the fucking like alchemist supplies or something like that in order to build the explosive part of it, and then like Morgan is able to use his tinker's tools in order to create just like the shrapnel shavings that you can put into all of the bombs. So I decided to then like, I might as well make this somewhat useful, but not like absolutely insanely like overpowered. So I decided to make them all like something like 3d8 damage or like 2d8 damage plus like a d4 of shrapnel and a dex save. Yeah, so you guys create all your shrapnel bombs. You give like 2 to each person, including Hops.
Yeah.
Were you as nervous, just like out of character as I was? Because
no,
I saw things going so wrong with giving bombs to this 1-year-old toddler.
No, I think she knows how to use them, because like as we were building them, she purposely took out the snails that were in the shell. So she understood, like, okay, we're using these for something else. We don't need to like sacrifice the snail. So like that little moment, I was like, oh, she's okay. She knows what to do with them. She knows this will hurt things. So, and I doubt she would have hurt like her own party, So I think Lucky was the one who gave us like blueprints of the Hydra base, and I think he's the one who told us how many scouts there were. I think there was like 7 or 8 or something like that. So
yeah, I think that was Lucky or Titus.
Yeah, one of them. So they made a plan. It kind of worked, kinda. So we head over to the Hydra base, and Juliet decided to scout out the base. So she starts heading north, and there's 2 guards out in the front. So she starts on the left side. So there's like a patio with like succulents, and she stole one for Hops because like duh. There's one guard on patrol there, and he keeps going like back and forth, and she was like, okay, whatever. And then she keeps going, and she finds a kitchen where there's another guard, and he's cooking pizza. And she's like, I want the pizza so bad, I'm gonna come back for that. So she moved on, and she's now like in the back of the base, and she found the stables at the very end, and she managed to like open the pens, and they weren't like really moving, so she like loosened the bottom of the harnesses on the saddle, so if they did like decide to run, they would slip and fall. But as she was trying to do that, one of the horses made way too much noise, and a guard came out to check on them, so she was like, shit! So she like hid in a haystack, and then quickly like changed to a fox, and when he went over, she like poked her head out, and he's like, oh, cute, a fox, okay. And then she showed him her belly, like, how cats do it. And he's like, oh, cute. And as he goes to like rub her belly, she bites him like, and he was just like, what the fuck? And she like ran a little bit to like hide from him again. And he's like, what the fuck? Okay, whatever. It's an animal.
Yeah, you didn't really do that much damage to him, but like
I did
emotionally,
1 point.
That man was broken.
Yeah, he was like, oh, a cute fox. Why has it bit me? That's sad.
Yeah.
But anyway, so finally she continued to like survey the area when she was like in human form again, and she found like this large pig pen, and she was like, oh, cool, hello little piggies, and they like winked at her, and she's like, hell yeah, pigs. And then she moved on a little further, and there's a butcher, and she's like, oh, hell no. Hell no, the poor pigs. So, and then she managed to get into a smaller room where she found like a small shield for Hops. And then she came back around and told the others what was going on. And I forgot to tell Boondock and I forgot to tell the whole party that I loosened the saddles. And so they're like, immediately Morgan and Boondock were like, "Oh, we must go to the stables." And I'm like, "No, wait, hold on." And they didn't listen, and it just kept going. So she's like, "Fuck." So Juliet, Essen, and Hops were the only three together as the two fucking like ran toward the stables, and I'm like, "Oh my fucking god." So Juliet assassinated the guard who was patrolling, like super easy ninja, like gone. I'm so sad because the guard who was making the pizza, he literally just got it out of the oven, and she managed to kill him, but his body landed on the pizza, so there's like blood and guts everywhere, and she's like, no.
It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do as a DM is to take away your pizza.
Oh,
I felt
so
bad.
sad.
I felt really bad.
So, eventually, they all entered the building after Morgan and Boondock created more of a ruckus and like managed to get in. And then I think they all just started attacking like the goons that they could see. And as everyone else was trying to fight these things, Julia was trying to sneak around to see if she could find anything. And boy, what a mistake that was.
Was this the point where you snuck into the kitchen with Hops to try and to see her making a pizza, or?
No. That was after everything was like said and done. Is how we went and got the pizza. But no. Oh wait, no, you're right. You're right because she managed to make like a boomerang pizza.
Yeah. I think Hops actually did this by herself. Like, the rest of the party is, like, storming through the rooms and, like, just taking down bandit after bandit. Meanwhile, Hops is just going off on her own, just, like, fucking smells something in the kitchen. She sees the ruined pizza and a dead body, and just, like, oh, I can fix this pizza, as she just takes, like, random ingredients and just starts, like, plopping it onto the pizza, including two of her snail bombs.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where I'm like, ooh, like, what do I do about this? As, like, Hops decided, like, I'm gonna crack open one of the snails in order to try and spread the fucking mixture on there. I'm like, if you cracked open the snails, wouldn't it cause it to fucking explode? I eventually let her have it, though, saying, like, I guess Hops would probably just, like, made the bombs the shittiest out of the entire party and was very easily able to, like, shake out some mixture.
Yeah.
She spreads it out over the entire pizza and then realizes, like, oh, other people might be hungry, so she picks up the pizza and starts bounding down the hall.
Mm-hmm.
As you're, like, sneaking around, I think Hops runs into you and also runs into another bandit. The bandit starts charging at you, and I think at this point Hops decides to yeet the pizza at the bandit.
Yeah. And it worked.
So, it did work, and I had the bandit take the full damage from the bomb, as well as one extra improvised damage from the pizza.
It was like poisoned pizza or something like that. It was so good.
Yeah. And the thing is, the bandit's health was low enough that the pizza fucking killed him.
Yeah. Just things like that, man. Just things like that make me like just chuckle.
I think at this point you thanked Hops for the assist, and then you tried to explore the middle room to find the treasure, right?
Yes.
That was the... Okay, you want to go ahead?
I literally just wanted to peek inside the room. That's it. And all of a sudden, boom, there's like this giant lady just right there, just smacking me around with like, I think it was an axe or something?
Yeah, like an axe or a greatsword.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, bye. And like right behind her is another one of the main three, and I was of the Aranyes, and I was like, I am gonna die here. Like completely, I'm gonna die here.
Yeah, because like you literally just couldn't hit like the bulky woman because she was in insanely heavy armor, and like Juliet just couldn't fucking break through that defense. And behind her there was like a squishy spellcaster that was also just like fucking blasting you with spells to driving you into the corner.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That was ouchie.
Yeah. So, by the way, here's my intention for the fight. The very like bulky tanky one was going to like head out and start like beating you up, and then the squishy spellcaster one was going to like fire off a spell and then quickly duck back into the room so no one could like hit her unless they got through the bulky woman. The thing was though, because it was just Juliet, I said, okay, the squishy spellcaster stays just like behind the bulky woman, but like you might be able to throw like a knife or something at her. However, Morgan heads over and decides to help you out, and in one fell action surge, manages to fucking spin his pistol and fire all 4 shots, immediately taking down my squishy spellcaster.
Yeah, that was such a sick moment though, and I managed to distract the big bulky woman from attacking Morgan because I think he had to reload or something. Like, Juliet easily can provoke anybody. I think that's like a good and a bad thing. Yeah, and she managed to take the hits and she didn't die or pass out or go unconscious or anything, as Morgan then literally like managed to take her down enough to where I could just stab her. And then I think at that point, the rest of the party was fighting the last of the Aranyes.
Yeah. First of all, I just absolutely fucking adored that fucking like team combo between you and Morgan, because like both of you were actually kind of like looking out for each other, like out of character, and just like making sure like you can help each other out. And like in character, you decided to like mirror that by like, you know, like saying encouraging things and like, you know, supporting each other. Just such a good like mixture of like the mechanics of the game, where you both all want to like help each other out, and like the role play of the game, where like you know, both of you are starting to like care about each other a little bit more.
Yeah, he literally saved Juliet's life. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was sick. But a note to my own self, though, I cannot have squishy spellcaster enemies because Morgan is actually kind of smart and will take down my focus fire my fucking squishy spellcasters.
See, this is a perfect example of why Morgan is the wild card of the entire fucking group. He, like, recently, he literally killed 3 gnolls in 1 fucking turn. Like, that's insane!
Okay, I was looking at that combat, and by the way, just for reference, Morgan's like a fighter, so you know he's supposed to be like the one who's turning up the best in the combats. And so I'm literally just like was looking at my initiative order. I'm like, I felt like more of my gnolls should have been dropping. And then I look up the initiative order and like, oh, Morgan's like last instead of being first like he normally is. I'm like, ooh, I see the issue here.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Morgan's like hardcore though. Like, it really shocks me because sometimes he's like, for the most part, he's like a very nice, like, very good doing man, and then some of the shit he does in combat, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna kill this man point blank. Like, oh my god, Morgan, chill. Why?
Yeah.
What has brought this anger upon you? Like,
yeah. Holy shit! Oh my god, that was spicy.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Morgan fucking saves your ass. You guys both defeat the very tanky woman. Then you all like rush into the room to try and take down like the final one assassin of the Aranyes. At which point I'm slowly starting to realize like, ooh, I really can't like take on 5 party members with just one of these assassins. And so like I'm desperately trying to have her like fight against you guys, but all of you are just like slowly start just fucking like curb stomping this woman.
Yeah.
I think I tried to do literally like one thing where like I'm like, okay, I have exactly like one trump card where like let me double check the stat block here. I distinctly remember she has like one like very high level spell where she can oh yeah, it was like a dominate person or something like that, and like or hold person. And I'm like, okay, if I can just get one person to fall for this, like every I can actually like make this a decently challenging fight. And then it failed, and then it just looked at all 5 of your turns after and just like, fuck. Okay.
Yeah, I think you tried to bring back like 2 of the goons too to like, you know, make it like a little bit harder for us, but we literally, I think, just like one hit KO'd all of them anyway. So like it didn't even matter because we were just like, yeah, we did it. Good job, everyone.
Yeah, so you curb stomp this woman. Juliet then takes out the eyeballs to send to Cass, who very much was like, I don't want this. You don't have to send this to me.
Well, this was also the thing I forgot to mention. That she was like, tell you what, if I did manage to defeat these 3, and I give you proof, which that's why she brought up the eyeballs. I was like, there's a reason why. Then you're gonna owe me an entire barrel of like the most expensive beer that you have, and a date with like some attractive like half elf she saw at the bar. And he was like, you know what? Fuck it, deal. And that is why. That is why she took the eyeballs. I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you guys fucking, yeah, you defeated all of them, and you kind of, like, start to, like, search around the building.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Lucky gave you, like, a piece of, paper with, Reverend Salt's handwriting on it, so you could compare it to any sort of, like, documents or something like that you found, in the base. So maybe, like, if Reverend Salt, like, wrote down something, you could for sure have proof that, Reverend Salt was part of the Hydras.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you guys search around, you eventually find the documents, you compare it, and then you realize, like, oh yes, Reverend Salt was in fact, a part of the Hydra gang. And then Boondock pauses and says, welp, that doesn't fucking matter anymore, he's dead.
Yeah.
We already did this.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said out of character, like, yeah, this is supposed to be a much bigger reveal. I thought you guys would just, like, do the Hydra base before you tried to kill Mr. Salt. That's my bad.
No, we had different priorities here. But as we were looking around trying to find some stuff, Juliet found a vial of pure fucking moonshine, and she drank it, obviously, because got immediately drunk, which is really surprising because, like, Juliet being an alcoholic, you would think, like, oh yeah, she has a very high tolerance. No, she was, like, gone in, like, an instant. And then I think Boondock was the one who found a jar that was glowing, and for some fucking reason, even though she was drunk, Juliet knew exactly what that was, and she was like, hey, give it to me, I got it, and Boondock was like, I do not trust you, especially when you are drunk right now.
And you just kept making, like, grabby hands as,
give me,
the rest of the party's increasingly more nervous.
And literally, what I thought was super funny, she, like, grabbed it and ran outside, and everyone was like, fuck, what's happening? And, yeah, she just started, like, swinging the jar above her head, and everyone's like, what the fuck are you doing? And tried to stop her. And then finally, when she was done, there was moonlight in the jar. So basically, this jar can collect, like, was it just moonlight?
It's any sort of light, but, like, the special properties of light are preserved.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you swiftly captured 5 rounds of moonlight in there.
Mm-hmm.
As Essen's, like, panicking and trying to, like, oh, fuck, she's gonna, like, murder someone with this jar. I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's not good.
Yeah, that was super interesting. And then we all settled back in, because we decided to stay the night at the Hydra base, because we were all fucking exhausted after the fight. And there was all of the townsfolk's, like, supplies and stuff like that. And there was, all of this gold, and Boondock was like, okay, but because we did this, we technically get the reward. So each of us, I think, got, 1,000 gold pieces.
Mm-hmm. Something like that.
Mm-hmm. And so the next morning, they got a cart together with all the corpses and the stolen goods. We didn't kill we just knocked the mage unconscious, by the way. We killed the other
Morgan
2.
Didn't want to kill the mage.
Yeah. So the next morning they got all the corpses and the stolen goods, and they headed back to, started heading back to, Hope's Landing.
Yeah. At which point they can kind of see, like, a cart in the distance that's just streaking by at an alarming speed.
Mm-hmm.
And as, like, your guys' cart gets, like, closer and closer, Boondock's brand begins to glow. As all of you realize that the shapeshifter is now streaking towards Hope's Landing.
Yeah, that was ouchy.
And that was another cliffhanger I decided to
Where
end
you
the fucking
left
session
it.
with.
Yeah, that was so nice of you.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was fun. That was cool. It's honestly just nice to have like a little bit of a session though, where like I just had like a quote unquote dungeon, but you guys could really tackle this different ways. If you guys wanted to fucking like break down the doors and just start fucking blasting, you guys could have. But like, I wanted to have something, especially for like you and like the other characters who wanted to be like stealthy, to kind of like, you know, split up, sneak around, try and like do this fucking SWAT team style.
It worked, kind of.
Yeah, you did have like a good solid 15 minutes of like you doing the SWAT team infiltration before Boondock decided, fuck it, it's kicking down the door. Let's
I want
go,
the horse.
motherfuckers.
Yeah. Yeah. Good times. Good times.
Oh my god, yeah. I think it was honestly just kind of nice though to see like Boondock being the one who fucked up your plans instead of you being the one who fucks up their plans.
Yeah. I think that's a really good like counterbalance kind of stuff like that. It's fun. It's fun to see how they interact. Yeah. So, do we want to wrap it up with questions?
Yeah. Yeah. You go ahead and pick the question that we can wrap this up with.
Okay. What is an NPC that you pretty much always go to in like campaigns? So like for me, it's just old like characters that I've made before and have played before because I know how they act and I know I can just like easily slip into that role. So like for example, Roxori, she is my Fire Genasi bard, and I slipped her into my Croaking campaign as like an owner of a bar, super like loud and proud and like ready to party kind of lady, but also knows information on different things, which they kind of didn't question her for anything. Hint, hint. But you're already too far away, so it doesn't matter.
I enjoy that we can use this podcast to call out our players.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's the only reason we started this.
Yeah, just to call out on all of, like, well, I'm technically a player too, and you're calling me out on my bullshit, so I mean...
Yeah, that's why do you think this is the entire podcast, is me yelling at you for the dumb things you do.
This is the only reason why he decided to start this podcast, was just to fucking yell at me to the public on how stupid I am.
Oh, man. I need people to know my suffering.
Just you wait until Nina gets in here, okay? Oh my god.
Oh man. But yeah, no, so I don't normally have like a very specific like NPC that like I always do, but it ends up being more like a trope that I always kind of invoke is that I normally like the idea of like having some kind of like official that interacts with adventurers, just because like the official probably is just a very like serious person that just like really has to kind of get along with these fucking what is guaranteed to be a group of yahoos and himbos.
Yeah.
So it's just always a very, very tired character who's just had to put up with fucking years and years of this shit, and like very tempted to just start working for the bad guys, but no, they shouldn't, as they kind of just like stare at you asking them for a double the amount of gold as a reward for the 18th time.
Toad.
Yeah, no. Tired NPCs are honestly definitely my most like absolute favorite to play because they just work so well with dumb adventurers.
That's fun. Yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. And just to see how they go unhinged, as they just make it worse. Specifically Juliet.
Oh my god.
Because I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel so bad.
You should feel bad.
I know.
This is it. This is the yelling. This is the me yelling at you part.
You know that if any of you who are listening to this knows memes, I'm literally the meme where there's a knife being held up like to a cat, and the cat is just kind of like do it. That's literally me. This entire campaign. Like, there's nothing else I can describe this as. I like to push limits, and then I regret it later.
Yeah. Curse my actions having consequences.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You can't just let me get away with one.
Honestly. Thank you so much to listening to another episode of PhoenixChat. Again, if you want to support us, the best way to do so is on our Patreon, link in the description if you're on YouTube. If you or a loved one has been hurt by Izzy or one of her characters, please leave a comment below.
You were entitled to compensation.
You were entitled to compensation. But yeah, do you have any other closing remarks?
I'm not saying anything, because, like, you are entitled to compensation for Julia's stupid ass.
Anything you can say, canon will be used against you.
Yeah. In a court of law, especially for, breaking a federal crime.
Yeah, so tune in to next week's episode where we talk about the time Juliet broke a federal law and nearly got her character booted from the campaign.
Yay! PhoenixChat!